So then you want to just go over because you think that Licht, Lumiere, and Zagred are still high tier in the Spade Saga. Like,
Uh, I guess kind of depends on what you mean by high tier. Like, I definitely think that they can compete with the captains. Like, I know that in your videos you're talking about how like Magna just during the 6 month time skip like absolutely fodderizes Zagred and Licht and Lumiere,
yeah,
right? Okay, yeah, that was more the kind of thing I wanted to talk about.
okay, but like I think there's a lot of other points that are like even better than that. Like even excluding
Like
like
what?
anime canon shit. Um,
See, so I read through the manga. I
mm,
haven't watched through the anime canon, so uh, you may have to kind of walk me through what happens in the anime canon, but I'm still more than happy to talk about that.
yeah, okay. Um, I want to say because I know that you brought up like the Devil Heart Xenon stuff. So
Yeah,
I wanted to see if you wanted to expand on that.
I mean, as far as the Devil Heart, I mean, I guess you'll probably end up calling it equal interpretation about what we're talking about, but more of the thing I was talking about in terms of that was when obviously Xenon takes Devil's Heart and becomes 100% Devil. That is when Yuno ends up comparing him directly to Zagred. And I
Yeah,
get that a lot of people would say, oh, well, like the only reason he really looks like that is purely because at that point he's become essentially 100% Devil, like not just 100% connection, but he has the actual body of a Devil at that point. But at the same time, it wouldn't make a ton of sense because Yuno's already going up against Devil power to begin with. I mean, he's fighting through the Dark Triad, he's fighting through the Devils through the Spade Kingdom. So to sit here and say that it's entirely just because at this point he's become a devil doesn't make a ton of sense for the sole reason that up until that point he's still been fighting devil power, so he'd still understand what a devil's mana, what a devil's energy feels like. So to say that it has to refer to the idea of him only commenting on the fact that he's become a devil through comparing him to Zagred, I don't think is entirely accurate, and that it's much more plausible that he's comparing the power of Zagred at that point to what Xenon has become.
yeah. So like the difference is that so devils just purely have like different types of mana. So like for example, the Dark Triad as devil hosts, they wouldn't be pure negative mana. They would be their own mana, which would be regular mana, and then the negative mana from the devil power of their hosts. So that's why it would feel different for them, like if he just literally became a devil, because he wouldn't have regular mana anymore. Um,
Yeah, but like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, you go.
My bad.
You can go.
Oh, what I was going to say is that it's less about the idea of him directly comparing, saying like, oh, like he's run out of mana, because at no point is like, oh, like the main reason, the main difference maker, the reason he feels such like Zagred is because that regular mana is gone. At no point does he talk about that. He more just talks about the feeling that he has. It feels like when he was around Zagred. That's what he's talking about. He's talking
Yeah,
about the overall mana. He's talking about that.
like
So to say that it's just referring to the idea of the negative mana, but we know that even when a dark triad or a devil host user is using like that power from the devil, they're still using negative mana. There's just also their own mana to go with that. So when he's talking about the feeling, it wouldn't make a ton of sense for him to just be describing the fact that there's no more normal mana with him. It makes more sense to talk about the fact that he's just reached a level of negative mana that's comparable to what Zagred was.
well, that would still be different though because this is pure mana and negative mana. That would be the Dark Triad. This like devils have a different type of sense to them, so that's why it would be different. Especially when you add in all of the other power scaling that leads into it. Like, so do you think that Boreas Yuno is weaker than Elf Saga Yuno?
No, not at all. But at the same
Then
time,
how
it's
would
not
that
like
make sense?
over here because it's not like Yuno's up there competing with Zagred. I mean, he was getting amped by Lumiere's magic. He was getting amped by a number of things at that point, and he was still not the one doing any of the heavy lifting against Zagred. Any of the real feats he had, he was either amped by Lumiere or amped by Lumiere and was getting like pulled in faster due to Asta's anti magic. At no point was he just like standing there being fully relative, reacting to or being consistently on the level of Zagred. All he was doing was providing some level of support while being amped by two other people. So it's not like we're looking at here saying, oh, we have this version of fighting against Zagred. And
Yeah.
it's not like we can, like, sit here and say that there's a direct comparison to what he was doing, because at no point was he fully relative to Zagred. The only reason it's a bit different is because, Yuno has grown so much in strength that by the time he's fighting someone comparable, it's not like I'm against saying Xenon's above Zagred. I do believe Xenon is above Zagred. But to say that it takes that long for to get to the point where he's relative to someone at Zagred's level isn't overly a stretch.
But like, so like that's what. So do you think Boreas Yuno is stronger? I'm talking about like even with the amp from the Elf Saga, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I still think he's stronger. I'm just saying to argue that to any discernible level that was. Oh wait, sorry. You're asking if I think fully amped
So like,
From the Elf Saga is stronger than the that fights Xenon? Is
yeah,
that what you're asking?
yeah.
Um, I doubt it, but at the same time, again, it's not like even when was being amped by all those things, he was still heavily competing with Zagred. He was still being carried, being protected, being guarded. All he did was kind of end up helping Asta win at the end, but even then, he was also being pulled in faster due to Asta's anti-magic. It's not like even with all those amps, he was still, competing with him.
I mean,
I wouldn't have. Or sorry, go
there
ahead.
you go. You can finish your point.
I was gonna say I don't have a major issue with in terms of speed that light magic amped would be somewhat relative to this version of I'm not overly against the idea of that.
Yeah. So basically, for I was gonna say.
Also, is there like a section where we can like send scans?
Yeah. So if you look on where next to it says debate VC, it says open chat, and there's a debate VC specific chat.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna look for that.
So yeah, so basically what I was gonna say is that
go
like does show like relativity to Zagred because he is like fighting him and negating his spells, and also like there is like nothing that really ever says that anti-magic draws things in. That's actually the opposite. The only thing that is ever stating it is Zagred, from what I recall. So that could just be Zagred being wrong. Because like the whole time it's anti-magic following like Like I know that it's stated that Zagred says that, but that's like the only time it ever really does that.
Well, yeah, but it's more just because just like it doesn't really make that entirely incorrect that at that moment Asta would be pulling him in. But I'm just looking for the scan right now. I can.
No, yeah, I know what you're talking about, but like.
Oh, okay.
But like it's.
I'm just trying to gain some context on it and see what was directly happening.
But yeah, I can also find the scans where is like reacting to and slicing the spells that were giving Asta trouble, and he scales to Zagred too.
Who?
Asta.
Sorry, I didn't catch
Asta.
that part. Okay, yeah. I mean, Asta low. I mean, him reacting to that one Storm of Swords spell would be kind of an interesting way to argue full-on relativity. And even then, we also know that in order to hit him, had to boost him with his wind magic.
It's not just the Storm of Blades spell.
I mean, he reacts to some of the random vines that are attacking through there, but I don't think he ever actually.
Yeah, but those are Zagred spells that are like attacking him. So like,
I mean,
again, I don't know why that wouldn't scale to him.
At that point, it's more just arguing the difference between attack speed and combat speed, but that's an entirely separate thing altogether.
Yeah, well, I mean, in Black Clover, that's pretty much like always relative.
You think attack speed is always relative to combat speed?
Like I said, pretty much, yeah. Usually it is. Because like a lot of characters, in Black Clover, they fight from a distance and launch their attacks, and then characters will dodge them and whatever. It's pretty like comparable.
I mean, I know that sometimes when amped with like monozone or amping yourself to a certain degree, you can sometimes scale to it, but I still don't know how that would directly scale to your combat or attack speed to combat speed, especially in a situation like this where it's more just Zagred, saying words and a whole bunch of things are happening at the same time. I don't know how that would directly compare to he himself scaling to that. Especially when Asta has no real feats directly scaling to that.
Like this is his spell powered by his magic, and he's like making it like expand to start attacking them, and then and Asta destroy it. And that's even before like Yuno's even been amped too.
Yeah, but I mean at the same time, we also look at guys like Patri. We look at guys who are doing all that sort of thing. Or we can get to the Patri stuff later because there is something I want to talk about in terms of that.
Yeah, well,
okay. About Patri in particular.
Yeah. What did you want to bring up about Patri?
Oh, just when I know that you're a believer of like Magna and Noel and all of them during the time skip being greater than Zagred and them, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, but so at the same time, there's also a scan where Noel goes to Patri and pleads for them to train her because they view this grimoire-less Patri as being significantly stronger than they are.
Yeah.
So I don't really see how Noel, who considers herself weaker than a grimoire-less Patri, would make sense when Patri himself is, way stronger than he was
Well, that
who's significantly weaker because at this point he doesn't have his grimoire, he doesn't have his dark elf magic. They
that's
still view this version of
I'll say there's no reason to assume that he's gotten weaker or hasn't gotten back or beyond his old power in the past 11 months. In fact, the fact that he would scale to Noel would actually show that, especially when he didn't know, or at least he probably didn't know Ultimate Magic 11 months ago when he fought Zagred, versus
I mean, I mean,
now he
sorry,
knows it. Which, if he knows Ultimate Magic now, that would imply he's been training and has gotten stronger, because he said he's going to
I
teach
mean,
Ultimate Magic to them.
yeah.
So that I don't really see that as a good argument, because it's also Patri 11 months later, and Tabata always writes when he reintroduces old characters they've gotten stronger, like since we've last seen them.
But I mean, that's not really an argument to support that this exact thing still works with Patri. I mean, just because Patri at some point knows Ultimate Magic, that doesn't exactly correlate to the idea of him not having it at this point in the
Why
series.
wouldn't he use
Especially
it in this fight then, or at any point? When it
well, I mean,
would have been super useful for him to use that against Julius and all these other characters. So like,
how useful would it have been against Julius? I mean, he uses 4 spells against Julius, realizes he's outmatched, and then bombards the city. It's not like there was much of a moment to use Ultimate Magic.
Ultimate Magic is
I don't know
literally
how
means it's
also,
your strongest spell, which means it would be above that spell used against Julius.
again, it being stronger doesn't mean it would work against Julius. It's almost a waste of mana at that point for him to use it against Julius. None of his attacks have really been able to land, apart from the one against an off-guard Julius, who he still managed to slice. At that point, he's still feeling Julius out. For him to consume the amount of mana it would take for him to use Ultimate Magic, plus the fact that he already knows that he's likely inferior to Julius, it's almost smarter for him to just immediately go to the spell to bombard the city.
Then why didn't he do
and
that?
against
And
Zagred, it's not like his
fight? Like that is your like that point doesn't work. You're saying why didn't he just do that immediately when he didn't do that?
I'm not saying why didn't he just do that immediately. I'm saying that there isn't really a reason for him to have done it. Unless you're saying that every character should just off rip immediately go to their strongest attack.
No, I don't think they have to off rip. It's a whole fight.
Yeah, but again,
he never used it.
And
then he never uses it in multiple
fights.
fights throughout after that point. And then all of a sudden he comes back and he's like, "Yeah, I know Ultimate Magic," which, again, that's more evidence that he didn't have it. So if we're going by which has more evidence, it would be that, because it's more like he would have used it in this, like all these battles he was in.
I mean, it's definitely not more backed up the fact that he would continue training and got whatever amount time stronger. You're arguing he did post losing his grimoire.
It is. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, so like, you're saying it isn't, but I'm saying it is, because the Ultimate Magic thing, but also the fact that if Noelle thinks that Patri is stronger than her, and then all the scaling that she has to the Dark Triad and above the Dark Disciples, who dwarf Zagred and all these characters, is more evidence to it. So
again, why do they dwarf Zagred? Is my point.
Yeah, I'll get into it.
What evidence is there that these guys?
I'll get into it. So that Lola Pechka, she only saw a much weaker version of Vanica with devil power, and she thought that devil or that power was stronger than Zagred.
I believe she called Megicula stronger.
Well, yeah, but she's seeing the power of Megicula manifested through what Vanica can use.
That is not an argument for the idea that that version of Vanica. No, it's not an argument for that version of Vanica.
How strong Vanica is by what Vanica did to her and Gotcha. And that's a much weaker Vanica.
She says that Megicula, not referring to Vanica, she's referring to the devil itself being stronger. Because at that point, if we're saying that at that point, you're trying to argue that any statement regarding any of the higher tier devils were directly correlate to any of the Dark Triad.
That's not what I'm saying. That doesn't logically follow. That'd be a false analogy. I would.
It's really not a false analogy,
because
if you're trying to argue, okay, so by that logic, can we say that any of the stuff that Noct talks about Lucifero and Beelzebub directly apply to Xenon and Lucifero?
No, I don't
or
think
Xenon and Dante.
That's not the same. That's not the same context.
How so?
Because those are different contexts.
Well, what is different about?
Tell me that it's the statements that you're directly referring to.
Okay, give me a second. Yeah, I'm just looking for him.
Go for it.
And can you send the statement you're talking about with Megicula, or what Lola Page is talking about?
Yeah, I'll find it.
Yeah, I just want to look at it. I know it exists. I'm just trying to see what it is so I can see the context to it. I believe it should be around the 220s, the scan you're looking for.
Yeah, I think I found the chapter. I'm just scrolling through it.
So just send it in the debates chat.
Yeah, I'm putting it in there right now.
Okay. No, I'm just asking if that's where we're supposed to send it. It's like the red flag debates.
Yeah. Well,
Okay,
debate VC. I don't know. I didn't even know that this thing existed. Like, if you look at the debate VC channel, there should be a chat box next to it where this specific like chat will be.
Oh my god, I didn't even know that existed on Discord.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
I did not know that was a thing. Also, sorry, I'm laughing. Who threw that Asta cutting Yamamoto clip in there? That is hysterical.
Bro, that's that's an edit we made, bro. That makes it fucking
That's
fun.
awesome. That is fantastic. Of course, that's right. You guys might get something incredible out of it too, frankly. Stronger than the devil you fought, I think. Okay. Do you know what chapter that is?
That's 228. And like the reason why it should be referring to Vanica is they know they're going to be fighting Vanica, and it would make no sense for like to be so scared over this character who would be far weaker than Zagred if you think it's just referring to Megicula, whereas like Asta is like way stronger over the course of the time. So even if you just remove, we can get to the anime canon stuff later if we want to, but we know that Asta is way stronger.
I mean, yeah, he's certainly stronger. And I don't really. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll say, and like, he is nothing to the Dark Triad.
I mean, he's some end of relative to Don. Or are you talking about prior to the time skip?
No, I'm talking about in the time skip. Asta is getting like just bamboozled by base Dante, and then basically he transforms to 50% double power when he's fighting 13 Black Divider Astas. So it would all be way stronger than the one that fought Zagred. So. And then he just no dips 50% double power. Like Dante, well, not even going all out, does way more to Asta than Zagred ever did against, and it's a way stronger Asta than the one Zagred fought.
Well, I mean, again, that's not an entirely fair comparison. I mean, when he's directly fighting when Dante is directly fighting Asta, and then Zagred is fighting Yuno, Asta, Yami, Lumiere, Licht, and Patri. It's not like it's the exact same situation.
Well, no, but he still spammed so many spells on Asta, and they really didn't do anything.
I mean, didn't he really only spend the Storm of Swords?
No, he
against him, and then like the various
spells
vines
against him. Lots of different spells.
True? I'm pretty sure he just really only sends the Storm of Swords and then
I'll go find
vines.
Some, but yeah, he spams a lot of spells against him.
I'm trying to find the scan where they're talking about Megicula in particular. Sorry.
I also knew the scan that Broku is referring to when he talks about all of the spells being spammed. So
perfect.
Yeah, I'm trying to find them too because it's a pretty long fight.
Yeah, I think it's around like 195 to like 210, something like that.
I found one. I'm trying to find more.
Yeah, I just grabbed this one. The scan was more just that it makes more sense for I'm like on her name, Low Peachka or whatever, to be talking about Megicula rather than just Vanica in general, which would be a bit of.
I don't really agree. I think actually the context of that scene that you just put in there actually supports my point, because they're like that whole context of what they're showing and what was trying to be shown they just see a devil host's power. They like just see Xenon do this, which adds to the context that this is about the devil hosts, and yes, they are using the devil's power, but they are seeing how strong these are based off what they see the devil hosts do.
So that's someone got these two scans about what Noct is talking about.
Sorry,
he's
you're cutting out right
breaking
now.
down with the captains and the he's breaking down what the devil. Sorry,
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. So that's kind of why I wanted to get to the point about what Noct is talking about in terms of the devils when he's describing the powers of the devils, because he also has only really encountered the Dark Triad. He's never encountered any of these devils, yet he is aware that about the difference between the strength of the individual devils and the Dark Triad members themselves. So to say that for some reason it's far more likely for Vanica, for her to be talking about Vanica in particular, or not Megicula, when throughout the series it's made very clear the difference between a devil host and the actual devil themselves. So to sit here and argue the idea that she must be talking about Vanica because it's showing a spread of destruction that a Dark Triad member caused, it's just as likely that she's more just referring to Megicula, and that's the power that, such a limited version of this devil, that being a Dark Triad member, can cause.
Yeah, and like the issue with that is that interpretation doesn't make any sense when Asta already scales to Zagred, gets way stronger, and then by that logic, Vanica will be far weaker than Megicula, which means that Asta, like, literally just in, like, what would that be, chapter 229 or whatever, would be able to defeat Megicula, and we know that's not the case. He would need to get Devil Union to do that. So that
it more means that Asta,
that scaling wouldn't make sense, because, as you just said, the hosts are weaker than the devils, which means that if Megicula is maybe stronger than Zagred, then Asta and 229 would beat Megicula, which we know for a fact is not the case. Asta got way stronger in the first arc of the Spade, then got Devil Union to be like Megicula level.
It more just means that Asta isn't amped to the level that you think he was throughout the time skip. And if this is anime canon stuff, then that's where you'll kind of need to help me out a little bit. Because from what I can tell, there isn't really anything supporting the idea that Zagred is that Asta is this infinitely stronger being than what he was when he fought Zagred, and was while very low and relative, at least somewhat. Which I assume you're using anime canon here to try to.
No, he was just relative. But I'll find like the statement where even just from the manga that Asta's gotten a lot stronger since the Elf arc.
I'm not saying he's stronger. I'm just saying like terms like a lot and terms like that aren't necessarily indicative of him somehow just because he's gotten stronger, reaching it to the point where he's the scanning.
So the reason why
this is when Asta and Yuno are
because they believe.
I mean,
remember, so
that is directly when Asta and Yuno are being pulled towards each other, amping their own speed.
No, Yuno's not being amped by Asta's. That wouldn't make sense.
I believe he is.
That's what Zagred postulated, and anti-magic.
Zagred states he's getting faster.
Yeah, and Yuno can just amp himself. Characters get faster in Black Clover. Anyways, as I was saying, it would not make sense. Wait, don't intervene. Don't intervene. It wouldn't make sense for Megicula to scale to Zagred if Asta needed to get so much stronger from the Elf arc and get Devil Union to still only scale to Megicula. That wouldn't make sense.
But again, so what is the evidence towards Asta reaching this level to where he's so far above Zagred, or so far above what you're talking about?
Where it says he's gotten a lot stronger.
Perfect. But again, though, I mean, even someone getting a lot stronger to whatever relevance wouldn't inherently put him above Zagred. It just means that he scales above whatever version of Asta is currently.
If he's already relative to Zagred and he's gotten a lot stronger, and then Dante does way better against a stronger Asta than Zagred did, then it would. And this also this is also discounting, because this is just chapter 229 Asta. This is discounting how much stronger Asta got over the first arc of the Spade, and then he got even stronger, and then he gets Devil Union. So that's why it's not just over the 6-month or 11-month times. It's actually an 11-month time too. That's a plot hole timeline in the manga that the anime canon actually fixes. But yeah, it's an 11-month time skip, and so there's that, and then there's all the power growth from the Spade Saga. Is what I'm saying, and Devil Union. So it wouldn't make sense for Megicula to only scale to Zagred with all of that. Because then if like, because you even agree, Asta at the very least is relative to Zagred. There's no way for him to get this much stronger, and to not
very
be.
low end, but yeah.
It's not like it's all the spells he's
resisting. It is.
All the spells he damages. No, it's not, man. Like, what is low end relative to you?
You can react to while heavily being pressed to some of the attacks.
Do you have any more than that?
What do you mean more than that?
Is that like your only qualifier for it?
I mean, more of the fact that he needs consistent help and support to be able to do anything to him. He's constantly being pressed, even when he's getting these attacks sent against him. Yeah. These are not, the strongest of the attacks that Zagred is throwing out here. Him being able to react to the occasional attack from Zagred while fighting with 5 other people who are all considered stronger than him is not much of an argument for him being directly relative to Zagred.
It is, because the reason why it's a bit harder for Asta to fight him is because he's a harder control with his anti-magic at this time, and Zagred has way more abilities to go against. When it's coming to just actual stats, though, that's where it gets different.
So what feats does he have that puts his stats above Zagred? I guess is more of what I'm arguing. Because if that's what we're going
destroying his spells.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's able to destroy his spells. Obviously, he has anti-magic. He directly counters those.
Yeah,
he's able to react.
He has to scale to the things to the force that he negates, though.
Him scaling low end to these base level spells from Zagred doesn't put him at the same level stats wise as what Zagred is able to produce physically.
How are these base level spells when like Zagred implies this to be like his strongest spell that gets stronger over time, and he starts making it even stronger? When
does he do either of those things?
Which part?
When does he state that these are his strongest spells, the ones that Asta is negating?
Here, I'll find it. It's when he does the spell from the other world. Because Yami implies it's like way stronger than his other spells, and then it gets even stronger, and Asta is destroying shit from it. Like, when he's actually pressed by them, he just pulls out this spell. I'm getting the scans. I think there's more I'm going to grab, but I'm just going to drop the first few.
Yeah, I'm just grabbing a few from that also.
Yeah, so basically he activates the spell. Yami's like, damn, something this nasty. And he's already used a bunch of different spells against them.
And this is the spell Asta directly scales to?
Yeah, and he actually, no, it's an even stronger version of it. It gets stronger over time because it eats mana and life. And then it also gets like way bigger, and then attacks start coming out of it, and Asta fights those things.
Do you know what chapter that is?
I don't know the exact one. But that panel that you just put in there is Asta actually going against that spell.
Okay. Is it?
Yeah.
Perfect. Alright, then yeah, I know where that is. I'm going to go into that. And more of what I understand was more of Zagred talking about how the speed Asta and Yuno are going at isn't really enough to reach him. And then, obviously, Yuno accelerates Asta to go even faster to the point where he's actually capable of hitting Zagred.
Yeah.
Which further shows that he's not overly relative to Zagred himself in speed.
Well, the difference there is they're coming from a far distance. It's going to be way harder to actually get there. And also, like, that's also not even Zagred's full power. He gets even stronger after that. And Asta does have scaling to that version of Zagred.
Okay.
Do you know that he gets stronger, or do you want me to give the scan? Because I know that's like a very misstatement.
I'm looking through it. I'm on that scan I just sent is chapter 209. So I'm just reading through that right now.
I think it's the same chapter where it says that Zagred.
Asta deflects that. So this is the devil's full power. If nothing changes, it'll swallow everything. Hey, we can't get close to that thing. Sorry.
So like after that, here's the scan of Zagred like actually going full power. And Asta and you are like still fighting these things.
Yeah.
Like this is after Zagred goes full power, and he launches his like strongest attack at them. And this is before...
The strongest attack being the one that you sent?
Yeah, I just sent this one right here. That's like the more developed spell that was already like his strongest spell that he used at the time.
Yeah, I'm looking through it. I'm just trying to find something that talks about that being his strongest spell.
Like even let's say if it isn't, it still would be like scaling to him because it's like a way higher spell than the others. But I don't think there is a higher spell than that.
Yeah, I'm more just trying to find a moment where Asta directly scales to Zagred physically. Is more of what I'm trying to find.
All right.
And then Lumiere amps everyone. Okay, and then Yuno gets amped in speed. It's over. Yeah, I'm on 211. I'm just still looking for these moments. So at this point, Yuno's increased in speed. Yuno's able to cut one of them while he's still growing in power from the light. If you can't keep up, I'm leaving.
Oh yeah, and that's a scan I put in earlier, but I don't know if it went.
Yeah, I know. I'm just kind of reading through it. Oh, you found the scans. Fair play. Also, I meant to find another moment of Asta and tanking. Yeah. So people who are listening, I'm not really arguing that Asta and Yuno are capable of negating like the actual spells he's sending. I'm more just trying to find a scan of them keeping up with him physically. Is more of what I'm looking for. Just if you guys are wondering what I'm trying to find.
Are you talking about like his actual own movement speed?
Yeah, I'm trying to find a scan of them able to react and keep up with Zagred physically. Is what I'm trying to find.
I mean, yeah, Zagred doesn't really move too much.
Yeah, I know. That's
like.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that, talking about the whole Xenon thing and why that would apply to both them and talking about the Megicula stuff. There was more to it in the argument. I'm just trying to find a direct part of it. Whenever you're can't cut my heart. There's nothing to worry about. So yeah, I mean, like I said, like the best I can find as far as them hitting him physically is when Yuno, who at this point is being amped by the light magic, who's moving far faster, him and then Asta comes in from his blind spot, and they're both pulling each other in, making each other faster. That's kind of the only moment I can see them actually hitting him, and then that's the only time they really hit him physically, and then at that point, Yami hits him with a Dimension Slash.
Yeah, but like, so why would the AP of his spells be significantly higher than his durability?
I'm not saying the AP of his spells would be significantly higher than his durability. I'm talking about purely in terms of combat speed at this point.
Okay.
All I'm really talking about is the idea of like them being able to like hit and like knock away his spells and be able to damage him doesn't like. Okay, I guess how do I phrase this?
Yeah.
In what regard are you trying to say Asta like significantly improved over the course of that? You said it wasn't actually 6 months. You said it's 11 months.
Yeah, I mean,
you say that?
So like if we just go by the manga, it's just that he's gotten a lot stronger, and so he'd be a lot faster too. And he has way better control of his anti-magic. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, but like again, like him being far faster again isn't really a method to scale him above Zagred in speed if he's not able to physically really keep up with him at any point.
I mean, okay, but here's the thing. So Zagred doesn't really fight physically. He launches spells. So when you fight Zagred, you're not fighting Zagred's physical movement. And if we're like going by like, you know, how fast he is, it's really like not super fast or physically or whatever. But like we're going by his attack spells because that's how he fights.
Physically he's under spells. Lumiere and Licht, yeah.
So like when we're talking about, you know, power skill, we're talking about the characters and how they fight. So like Zagred launches attacks. So like why would Zagred's physical speed matter when he fights with spells?
It matters in terms of like whether or not someone is actually able, like So the speed matters for the sole reason that we're trying to talk about where Asta and Yuno would scale in terms of this Zagred. And if they don't actually scale to him in physical stats, like at no point are they actually able to hit them on their own with their own power, then in no real way do they scale to the point where they'd be able to take him on, or they don't really scale to any point where chain scaling them off of people in the anime canon, like you were talking about, or whether or not chain scaling like Asta being many times stronger. There wouldn't really be a method to put them in speed above Zagred, so it isn't really evidence for them being able to take him on. Unless you're trying to argue that, like, Asta is so much stronger to the point where he'd just simply be able to one-shot Zagred, which, again, I don't really know how you would be able to prove. Yeah, but, so, like, what...
I mean, like, so, like, but the thing is that Zagred, like, he fights with his spells.
Yeah.
And like I said, like, do you think his durability is way higher than the AP of his attacks?
No.
Then why would it matter? They're still destroying the spells. They're still showing speed to those spells. And then Dante comes in, shit stomps a way stronger version of Asta. Then Asta gets way stronger with Berserk. He shit stomps him again. And still he's not even a full power.
I believe Asta is still able to react to fully that Dante.
What was that?
I don't think he's ever... I'm pretty sure Asta is still able
reactions,
to react
but
to...
base Dante is way faster than Black Divider Asta. And that's a way stronger and fast. I'll find the scan. Right, yeah, he's like literally like way faster than him. But yeah, I'll show. I think it's like 220. No,
should be around 250s.
Oh no, it's 240s. 240s. That's when that fight is.
Oh, it's 240s. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna go to that fight also, just so you're not the only one looking through.
Yeah.
So he's using Black Meteorite.
So here's Black Meteorite, Black Divider, and can't touch Dante. Dante's faster in his base. Oh shit, where did I almost closed the Discord. So that's Black Divider, Black Meteorite, and Dante is just like dodging it in his base.
Yeah, and then he uses,
and he doesn't really get pressed until there's 13 Black Dividers.
I was about to say he uses Black Meteorite, and then he's forced to.
Oh yeah, Black Divider. Go 50%. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
I was about to say, I was like, because what I'm looking at now, once he uses Black Meteorite, he's forced to use 50% in order to stop it.
Well, it's mirror meteorites. It's not until there's 13 different versions of Asta when he has to even consider using that power.
Yeah, sorry, I'm looking at 242.
Yeah.
Yeah. When he's looking at mirror meteorites, but still, it's not like the mirror meteorites would amp any individually wanted speed. They'd still be pressing him at least to the point where he'd need to be able to go 50% in order to stop them. Or I don't know if he'd have to go 50%, but he does go 50% in order to stop them.
Yeah, but that's like significant to like what Zagred has ever done against weaker. Like that's 13 characters way stronger and faster than what Zagred went against, and Dante only goes to 50% double power.
Well, I mean, it's not like the speed is amped by 13 times. There's just 13 of them moving at the same speed.
I know, but you argued that, Asta and all these characters needed all this help from, like, all these fighters, and now there's 13 Astas, and Dante's like, oh, like, I'll just go 50% double power. Like, and also he just one-shot kills Asta. And
he knocks down the...
Like, that's way better than anything that Zagred has ever done to Asta, and this is a stronger version, and this is only 50% Dante.
Well, yeah, again, I mean, hold up. I'm going to read through that fight just to make sure. But, I mean, doesn't Asta get saved several times?
Yeah, but this wouldn't negate...
Oh, yeah, I mean, the idea of him, like... Well, I mean, the thing is...
That would make Dante even stronger and support my argument better.
No, I'm talking about Asta needing to get saved against Zagred.
Oh. Which point are you referring to?
Yeah, no, I'm reading through, but I'm pretty sure Lumiere has to come in and save him at one point. Yuno comes in and saves him at one point. I'm reading through just to make sure that I'm not tripping or going crazy. But, like, I'm pretty sure he has to get saved several times also in that fight. So, like, the idea that, Dante, took him down, it was easy, whatever, doesn't really make all that much sense when the exact same thing would have happened to Asta against Zagred. The only difference is the fact that he had help who was able to come in and save him.
Yeah, I mean, Asta was also drained of power because he'd been fighting all day and using his black form. Like Asta needed help, like when he was fighting Zagred when he was just in his regular black form.
Is Black Divider a speed amp? I
Yeah,
actually don't know that.
Yeah, because it's more anti-magic energy.
That directly correlates to a speed increase.
Yeah, because mana is stated to be similar to anti-energy, and that's how mana works.
Just like purely just based off the amount of mana you have in you, the faster you are.
There's other factors, but if you just have a straight raw increase in mana, then yeah, you get faster. Like there's other ways too. Like I'm not saying like that's the only way to get faster, but yeah.
Yeah, I was just sorry. I'm just trying to figure that out just because I don't entirely see how just Black Divider would be a direct speed increase, but that might be true. I'm just reading through the Zagred fight again.
And so
next to him once.
What do you think Lumiere scales at?
Lumiere is a weird one for the sole reason that, like in terms of physical stats, he scales above where Zagred is while being quite heavily nerfed, or maybe not heavily. There isn't really a way to quantify his nerf, but while nerfed,
you know he's also amped in that fight too, right?
Huh?
You know he's also amped in that fight too, right?
What would be amping him in that fight?
He absorbed Demon Licht's negative mana.
Where is that at?
That's stated by Zagred in 206, and it's shown in the fight against Demon Licht that he absorbs his negative mana.
Okay, I'm looking to this actually.
So this is more likely a stronger Lumiere, especially
and that would put him above his unsealed form.
I think Stone Lumiere, like the statue Lumiere, it should be stronger than the Lumiere that fought Demon Licht, because he has Demon Licht's mana.
Okay, yeah.
But like, let's say
sorry, I'm not entirely tracking with that. So you're trying to argue that because the Stone one absorbed, so you're trying to say that because Stone Lumiere absorbed Demon Licht's mana, that would therefore put him above the unsealed version of Lumiere who hadn't fully woken up, who already had Demon Licht's mana?
Oh, I'm not saying that version of Lumiere, no. I'm saying that you have the weakest Lumiere would be Lumiere who fights Demon Licht. In the middle would be the statue Lumiere with Demon Licht's mana. The strongest would be Lumiere after absorbing Demon Licht's mana before turned into a statue.
Yeah. I'm trying to determine where that version of Lumiere is. That what you're asking me?
No.
Where like the
like do you think statue Lumiere or even the original Lumiere is strong? Like in the Spade Saga too.
Kind of depends on where you think the ancient demon he fought is in comparison to the ancient demon Marileona fought. I don't know if there's a direct line of scaling to get the one Marileona fought above the one Lumiere fought. If there is, all ears. I'm open to seeing it.
Well, because I was also going to say that Asta, while not even at full power in the Elf Arc, one-shots Lumiere and shuts off all of his magic.
Yeah.
So, if you think...
Are you talking about early Spade Arc Asta?
No, this is unrefined Black Divider Asta. So it's like not even his full power. And he one-shots Lumiere and shuts off his magic power.
Sorry, which chapter version of Asta? Like, you're talking about the unrefined one? Oh, you're talking about...
like 208-ish, I think.
Yeah, you're talking about during the Zagred fight?
Oh, yeah, and like that Lumiere
when Lumiere goes in to save him, and then he just like hits him.
Yeah, and that Lumiere is like also just fought and damaged physically Zagred.
Yeah.
And Asta won, so that would be like another feat that Asta would be above, because that's not even his full power in that arc.
Sorry, I'm going to 208 just to look at that one. What did Deadman... He said there is a way to get Marileona's ancient demon above Demon Licht, but I don't want to... No, I mean, I'm all ears.
No, like I mean, there is, but I feel like we're still like on like this topic, but...
We are. I mean, we can move... I mean, like I said, I'm still new to all this. I'm just trying to gauge opinions. I'm just looking through 208 when he hits Lumiere. So, Lumiere easily catches up to that unrefined Asta, and then Asta hits him.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know how much that yes, he is capable of shutting off his magic, but it's more just that like Lumiere easily catches up to him, and then while he's off guard, he just kind of hits him. I don't really know how that really scales him anywhere apart from the fact that he is capable of shutting off his magic, which I'm not disagreeing with.
I mean, that would just be like a scaling thing for his attack potency.
Yeah, it would mean that his AP's scales somewhere relative to Lumiere's off guard, not really magic enhanced durability.
I don't know why he would be not enhanced.
Well, I mean, he's Well, I mean, all he does is just go pick up Asta. It's not like he's currently combating Zagred at that moment. He just swoops in and saves him from getting hit.
I don't see why he would just randomly lower his power to go save Asta in the middle of chaos.
Is it like... Wait, how do I ask this? So, this is a genuine question. So, is mana, when you're using it, is it, like... Do you have to be contributing it towards something in particular, or does it just amp all of your physical stats at the same time?
So it amps all of your physical stats at the same time. But you can apply.
Do you have like a scan for that?
Yeah.
I'm just wondering. Okay. I'm not, like I said, I'm just trying to gauge this.
So I'll just use one from the Spade Saga.
Yeah, I'm good with anything. I'm just trying to.
I don't know. Have you read like all of the manga?
Oh yeah, no. I mean,
Okay.
I'm fully caught up to date. I'm trying to get like actual hard evidence for just whatever's being said, just so I'm not like.
So this would be like. So you've read the Dante versus Magna fight.
Oh yeah, I've read everything.
Okay.
I'm fully.
So like this is where we know we know that Magna is way weaker than Dante. He literally equalizes their magic power, and they're equal in stats. Or else there would be a significant speed advantage,
like
attack potency, durability advantage either way.
Okay.
So like that would be just like a prime example because if it wasn't correlated, then there would be like a significant like differences in their different like stats.
I wasn't trying to say that they aren't correlated. I was wondering yeah, I was more just asking if let's say you're amping your speed with mana. Does that mean that like while you're amping your speed with mana, that means that your durability and strength and your AP and such would still be amped to like if there's, or I guess kind of correlated is the right word. There's like a direct correlation between how fast you're amping your own speed to how hard your durability would be and such.
You can have a specific spell. Like there's times where characters put like a specific spell on their feet or whatever. But if you're just raising your magic power,
okay, yeah,
that's all of these stats.
Yeah.
And then there's even some spells that would like amp you overall, like
I know Mana Zone just amps your all around physical abilities like strength, AP, durability. I know about that. I was just like I said, that was more pretty sure mana amping your stats explain when Mana's because it's explained as well. Yeah, no, I know that when using Mana Skin, that does talk about amping your stats overall. Like I said, I was more just talking about if there's like a specific method of.
Yeah. And then another example is like when all the elves take over the human bodies, and then all of a sudden they're like all like faster, stronger. Like even Yami states that and shit. So
Luck gets faster, and Yuno gets a large amp from the elf inside him reincarnating.
Yeah.
Fair enough. What were we talking about prior to that? I know we started talking about Lumiere.
Oh, basically you just said that like Lumiere wasn't like could like not be using his full power when he saved Asta.
Oh yeah, no, that I know. I was talking about prior to that. Like we were talking about. Like, I'm more mean like what was like the overarching topic we were on before we went into the deep dive about mana amping speed and durability.
Well, so we were just still talking about like why like the main overarching point was like the whole Megicula or Vanica argument. Like,
okay, there we go. Yeah,
and so like that would be like part of it is that like if you think Lumiere at all scales to Zagred, which I remember you saying, then an Asta with unrefined
Lumiere,
an unrefined Black Divider can one shot him, and then you get regular Black Divider, then you get the higher versions of Black Divider, and then you get the time skip, and then you get more power ups, more forms. Then like Lumiere isn't going to be strong in the Spade Saga. Because I think we've mainly focused on Zagred, but like this originally was supposed to like Licht, Lumiere, and Zagred, but we can like get back to the.
It kind of all runs together because I do think Lumiere, physicality wise, would be above whatever Zagred is at. I think similarly about Licht, that's more arguable, but I think Lumiere for sure does physically scale above Zagred. But they do all kind of go together. I mean, we know that Zagred, Lumiere, and Licht are at least all somewhat comparable to each other.
I don't really think that. I think they are until Zagred goes full power.
So you don't think Lumiere scales to Zagred in any? So do you think Asta scales more to Zagred than Lumiere does?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that? I'm curious.
Well, because he actually fights like a stronger version, and then even like Licht and Lumiere are like, oh yeah, let's like let these two young boys like defeat him.
Well, isn't that more just because Lumiere and Licht are standing back amping Yuno to the point where he's able to keep up?
I think they even said to just they're gonna watch them do it even before that.
Did they say
I'll
that?
see if I can.
I don't
find
remember
it.
seeing that. I mean, I remember seeing. I mean, obviously, there's Licht and Lumiere amping everyone, or not everyone. I guess Asta doesn't get amped by that, but we know Yuno gets fully amped by it. We know that he's moving faster. We know Patri's moving faster.
I'm see if I can find this. I could be wrong, but that's just what I remember.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I'm looking through it. I think it's definitely also arguable because Lumiere talks about his magic being able to stand up to the devil, and then he
so like
in turn amps everyone.
in chapter like, so it's 209. Licht and Lumiere are just like yeah, I said that they're gonna just hold the perimeter and let them fight, but like that would still mean that they believe that Asta and Yuno have a better chance of defeating Zagred than they did.
But I mean, again, at that exact point, we also see Lumiere say this. He himself states that he's not going to let anyone die. He then amps everyone with his own magic. Like he's going very out of his way to still continue to protect everyone. I don't know if it's inherently that they think that Asta and Yuno have surpassed them at this point. I don't really think that that's what they're trying to say.
I don't see why that wouldn't be though. If like they are putting like the burden of them fighting, and like Asta doesn't get the amp too. Like he still is like fighting alongside like an amped, and this is like an Asta who's like literally on the brink too. His body's at his limits and all that.
Wait, no, he's talking to Patri there. He's telling Patri to hold the perimeter for a little while, saying that they can't let the modern mages die. After all, they are the future of the Clover Kingdom. And then they go on to have Lumiere not only amp the people outside of it, but they also go ahead and amp Yuno. Like I don't think that's him just saying
like that's him
we're
starting,
gonna hold
because like the next chapter is like them then doing that. But I'm saying like that this is still them like setting up the plan that they're gonna let Asta and Yuno take the W because they think that they have a better chance of winning.
But again, how is it them setting up? Go ahead.
Like why wouldn't like they're just gonna let Asta and Yuno fight? And even if they think they're stronger than them, and like I don't get what you're trying to say. Like,
I mean, first off, that's not entirely unplausible. Like the idea of Lumiere and Licht letting Asta and Yuno, who will continue to be around for the rest of time to protect the Clover Kingdom, isn't like an inherently idiotic take. But
I don't think it's a plausible take though.
Why not?
Because like this is a devil that wants to take over the world, and it's already like they've already seen what Zagred could do, and then they're already seeing Asta and Yuno fighting a stronger version of Zagred than they did, and doing fine. So like if we're just going by feats too, they have better feats because they're fighting a stronger Zagred. So I don't see why they wouldn't scale.
But again, like no real part of the scan you sent is them saying we'll focus on Asta and Yuno. It's them telling Patri to hold the perimeter, and then Lumiere amps Yuno. Like,
but like they don't join the fight. They just go back. They're watching Asta and Yuno fight Zagred, and then they do this. Like, why wouldn't they fight together?
They don't go back in.
What I mean is like they're not going into the battle. Like they're standing back from where the battle is taking place, with actual Zagred.
And you think that's a clear indication that means that Yuno and Asta have to be above him?
Yeah, there's a lot more evidence than the other way around.
Not really. I mean,
they're literally fighting a stronger Zagred who raised his power even higher. And they actually defeat that Zagred.
Well, them and Yami and Yuno, who's being entirely amped by Lumiere.
Yeah, but Asta still like breaks his limits and destroys the heart.
Well, yeah, I mean,
but that's Licht and Lumiere never fight the strongest version of Zagred. So like, yeah, that's more evidence. Licht and Lumiere fight and fail against a weaker version of Zagred. They hold back. They tell Patri to do the perimeter. They do their combo spell, and they don't do anything besides that to actually get in the fight to help Asta and Yuno. Why would they do that if they didn't? Especially if if Asta one-shots Lumiere and he's not even close to his full power of the arc. Like, it's an unrefined Black Divider. It gets refined. It gets bigger. Why would he not be stronger than Lumiere? That just wouldn't make any sense.
Because he doesn't entirely scale him. He hits an off-guard Lumiere.
How is he
at
off
all looking at
guard? This is
What
mid-battle.
do you mean how is he off guard? He's holding Asta while flying, while looking around at Zagred. I'm not saying that his durability would be messed up or anything, but it's not like Lumiere has ever been hyped up as a tank. The whole point of the whole point of light magic in general, it's about speed. All that happens.
So are you arguing that Lumiere doesn't scale to, like, his durability doesn't scale at all to his AP or his magic power?
No, I mean that's not what I'm arguing. What I'm saying is that him not at all paying attention to Asta and Asta hitting him and negating his magic for about half a chapter is not utter evidence for him scaling above Lumiere.
I mean, I don't know how that isn't.
What do you mean? He hits a Lumiere who isn't paying attention in the slightest.
Lumiere went to go
and he has the
how is he
direct
not paying
counter to
attention?
magic. What do you mean? How
he has the direct counter to magic against
he's
everybody.
Not even looking at him.
He does.
That's
dude,
that's what I mean.
Don't use that argument of anti-magic counter everything, because it doesn't matter. If he's fighting anybody, it doesn't matter because it's a counter to everybody, so the scaling doesn't change.
It supports the idea that it's not that he directly scales Lumiere, it's that he can obviously negate his magic. That's the point of what he's doing.
Oh, and
that doesn't mean
he can't negate Zagred's magic, so that means like he's stronger. So that means Zagred's stronger than Lumiere, and Asta scales above Lumiere. Like, we're going off. Okay, so we're going off. Licht. Let me see if I can find this statement. But basically, Licht and Lumiere are just like basically holding back. Asta and Yuno fight a stronger Zagred, and a weaker version of Asta one-shots Lumiere.
When does Zagred get this huge amp?
I put that in the chat. I'll just copy and save it again.
Like I remember you sent something about them talking about the devil fighting at full power.
Yeah,
but
that would mean he was like suppressed before.
Well, no, they just talk about so. I mean, I'm pretty sure the Dark Lord is just so. This is the devil at full power.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure.
What are you trying to say?
Like, how do I phrase this? Never mind. Just go ahead.
Yeah. So, like, I don't.
Go ahead.
I think that I've shown like I said, I'm still finding the statement. I can't remember where all these chapters are in this arc because there's so much, different stuff going on. But I'll find it. But so like they are just watching Asta and Yuno fight for a whole chapter before they even like start to try and help him do the combo spell. Asta has a better feat than Lumiere, and then he also one-shots Lumiere. So how is that not better than your argument? And you say Lumiere's off guard? Lumiere was literally like looking at Asta so he's focused on Asta.
He's not at all fighting Asta.
He's in the middle of a fight. So is he just gonna go in there and suppress his durability just in case one of Zagred's attacks hit him?
I never said he suppresses durability. I directly said I don't think he's lowering his durability. I asked.
Okay, if he's not lowering his durability, then it doesn't matter because Asta still one-shot him.
Saying that, yeah, I'm not saying that Asta can't hurt Lumiere.
It's not just he hurt him; he literally one-shot him. So he was just out of commission.
He doesn't scale to him in speed. He doesn't scale to him in speed in any real regard, though. Which is the issue. How?
Well, Lumiere needed Licht's help to fight a weaker Zagred, which would be a slower Zagred as well.
That's no. Saying that that Zagred is now fighting at full power.
Like what happens?
Him fighting at full power now is not a direct reference to him having increased in speed at all.
You've already just accepted that if you have more power, you have more speed. So that would be.
No, I mean
yes.
I mean no.
You already accepted that. Like you asked about it and you accepted.
No. I asked and you said, and I asked you because, like I said, I'm new to the whole Black Clover thing. I was like, hey, so is it the case that just there's a direct correlation, like having more power equals more speed? And then you sent the idea of the Magna Soul Chain, and you said that this is proof because it means that there would be some massive stat difference
Yeah.
if due to that magic. But that isn't direct proof that simply having more power equals a direct increase in speed, especially when the only thing that shows that you're arguing for is an
What?
increase in speed.
I thought you
is
just already
what?
agreed to that, man. I brought up all the elves getting their magic
If
power, they're getting stronger. All the times that
yeah,
people get
they
more
already,
magic power, they get stronger. I
like
meant
I said,
faster. Sorry, I meant
well,
faster. All these characters that
okay.
get more magic power, they get faster. Mana Zone is literally just absorbing nature's mana, you get faster. There's all these things. So why is it this specific moment when Zagred gets more power, he's not
It's not that
faster?
it's not inherently that he gets more power. It's more that he's using his strongest attacks, is what they're referring to. Or am I
But
wrong there? Is he
no,
not just using a stronger
because they
attack?
have mana sensing, so they would sense his power level.
Yeah, I mean he's using a stronger attack.
Yeah, so it'd be faster too.
No, but I mean just
And
gathering more mana to
And
use
you
a stronger
know
attack
that
doesn't.
with negative mana, the more negative emotions you have, which would be Zagred's anger, it increases your mana. So that would
When is
also
it
be.
said?
That's like how
Can you
devil
send
power
that?
works. Yeah, I'll find it.
Because
The only that's literally what Berserk Asta is, and like that's how like similar anti energies and negative mana.
because the only reason I'm disagreeing with that in general is more just because when we watch Patri use the spell to attack the city, we see Julius talk about how much his mana is increasing, but his speed doesn't increase at all. All he's doing is increasing his mana in order to launch that stronger attack. So we don't really see
How do
how
we know his
just.
speed's not increasing?
I mean, A, there's no evidence that his speed increases at all. B, if he's holding this vast amount of second, if he's holding this vast amount of mana inside him that he could be using to amp his speed the entire time, it doesn't really make sense for him to just resort to this if the entire time he has this massive speed boost that he can just use. Unless you're trying to argue that he's under the belief that no matter how fast he increases his speed,
you can argue this, but I
drools.
can't argue that he didn't have ultimate magic at the time. Like that's the same type of logic there.
No, it's not.
It is.
How?
Because I'm saying
No.
if he-
Actually, it's the exact same as the argument I was making prior, which is
No,
the fact
it's
that
not.
he simply doesn't believe that ultimate magic would be enough to beat Julius,
Oh my
which is the
God.
argument I was making beforehand.
No, it's literally the same argument that I was trying to make.
How?
Because I was saying, if he had ultimate magic, he would have used it. You're saying if he could have used this mana spell to go way faster, he would have used it. Like that's the same argument.
No, but I'm explaining why he wouldn't use ultimate magic.
Yeah, and this is the same.
He's under belief that ultimate
argument.
magic wouldn't make a difference against Julius. No, it's not. Because
It
he's
literally is.
him using ultimate magic wouldn't change. Him using ultimate magic wouldn't change how that fight against Julius.
How do you know? What is his ultimate magic? What is his ultimate magic? Tell me. Exactly. You don't know.
What do you mean?
You don't know
Every
his
time-
ultimate magic, bro.
I don't understand how that helps your argument.
You're saying that it wouldn't have helped. You don't even know what his ultimate magic is. We've never seen it. So how are we going to say that it wouldn't do anything? That makes no sense.
Well, that's what I'm saying is he clearly is under the impression that okay.
No, because... Okay, I'll let you go.
No, go ahead.
No,
you got it.
No, you got it. You go.
What I was going to say is the difference is, unless you're under the impression that his ultimate magic is somehow some vast speed difference or some vast attack that for some reason Julius's time magic wouldn't be able to counter, like Asta and Dante both agreeing that negative mana grows stronger in response to negative emotions. Must have felt yourself with the power of malice when you reach dark. That's when you're most human. Evil is the true shape of humanity. They're just talking about. Am I blind? They talk about the power of malice and the power of anger. When I get thrown by battlefield. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, bottom left panel. Yep, there we go. So yeah, negative mana does grow stronger with emotions. But so what I was saying about the ultimate magic thing. The only thing is with the ultimate magic argument, it's not at all supported that Patri trained at any point during the course of. I mean, sorry. Like I said, I haven't watched the anime canon. If the anime canon talks about Patri training and going through the training arc, then you're absolutely correct. Is that the case?
We don't get anything about Patri over the anime canon.
Okay, so we don't hear anything about him training or growing stronger?
Actually, yes. The evidence is that he has ultimate magic now.
Oh, yeah, no, that's not what I'm talking about. What I mean is, is he shown training? Is he shown getting stronger? Is he shown doing anything?
Shown to be training, but the fact that he has ultimate magic now and is now stronger than Noel is the evidence.
But again,
And,
issue is
and
your argument
I have already gone to the point that you've now moved from that it makes no sense for the point to be that Megicula is the one they're talking about, and not Devil Host Vanica, because then it would make no sense with all the power scaling that we've already gone through.
I mean, I'm still under the. I mean, how do I phrase this? I'm still not. I mean, I still do believe he is talking about Megicula, but regardless of whether or not he is or not, it still just goes against whatever you're saying to argue that. I don't know. I feel like we're just going in circles at this point. I fully agree that you've won this. I mean, I'm 100% losing. I did not really know how to count your arguments. Because I know you said you had about an hour, and it's getting around to that point.
Well, yeah. I mean, I could go a bit longer, but like around an hour,
Okay.
hour and a half. But so if you want to talk a little bit,
Yeah. No. I don't know. I'm more just trying to make sense of